Here he is from New York, that Kevin McCullough.
Welcome back to Times Square. It's Kevin McCullough. It is that fabulous time of year that we have between, Thanksgiving and New Year's, and we're getting ready for the Christmas holidays. And if you celebrate something else, happy or merry, whatever that is as well. But for me, it's Merry Christmas. And I just hope that you are not offended by that. It's a good thing. It's a joyous thing. We've got a lot coming up on tonight's show yet. We're going to talk the drones. Have you seen the drones? They're coming all over the place. I've got neighbors throughout the tri-state that are now filming them, and it's not just stuff you're seeing on TV. Like I've got like actual footage of people who saw it from their backyard. We're going to talk to an expert coming up. But first, I want to talk about this concept of this kind of lame duck period of the year where you have senators who, by Edmund Burke's definition, may be doing something harmful to the country because they're not showing up to take votes that they're supposed to. And that might allow the Biden administration to actually put some people in kind of more long-lasting bureaucratic positions than we want. Here to discuss is Carrie Sheffield of the Independent Women's Forum, one of 50 groups that are opposing this practice of not showing up for work. Carrie's also the author of Motorhome Prophecies, and we are glad to welcome her back, longtime contributor here at That Kevin Show. Hello, Carrie. Merry Christmas.
Hey, That Kevin. How are you? Merry Christmas.
We're hanging in there, and just be glad you're not in the New York area permanently. You won't have to be bothered by the drones, but we're going to get into that a little bit later in the hour. What is this that's going on with senators not showing up to vote, and what does it matter if they don't do their job?
Well, there are a few senators who are, I get it. It's the end of the year. People are in holiday mode, so they aren't necessarily wanting to dig in and do the battles that need to be done. However, we did actually have a great victory this week, and I'm quite proud of our work at Independent Women's Forum because we signed with, as you mentioned, this big coalition where we're pressuring the senators to show up, and it paid off. And in fact, Vice President-elect Vance flew up from Palm Beach specifically to take a vote this week, and we're very happy about the outcome because previously Senator Vance had said something that, apparently I believe it's 8 of Biden's judicial nominees have been just shepherded through without opposition from the Republicans. And Senator Vance made the argument, well, were they just going to win by one more vote, or the opposition lose by one more vote? Well, in this case, the Republicans, every Republican showed up and was able to get 2 Democrats or people who caucus with the Democrats, Manchin and Sinema, to vote with the Republicans to block a terrible nominee. And so it went down, and we had filed with 2 different coalitions at Independent Women's Forum against this nominee. She's spectacularly bad. Lauren McFerrin is her name. She ran the NLRB, the National Labor Relations Board, which does a lot of important things. And if you have the wrong leadership, it ruins the economy, it ruins employment, it ruins independent contractors. So anybody watching, if you're an independent contractor, Biden's person was going to be up for a term, and this term would have really ruined the Trump administration's ability to get things done because it's an appointment that outlasts the party. So theoretically, Trump could have fired her. And I honestly think he had great reason to, in part because the Inspector General for the NLRB actually identified just terrible lapses in leadership at the NLRB. So he could have fired her for that, but it would have been one more kind of political chit that he would have had to cash in. Well, now he doesn't have to. And so they did show up to vote. She was defeated, and now Trump can name an excellent leader there.
We haven't, of all of the issues that the election was decided on, which were 5 or 6 really, really big ones that were the main things that people thought about. But there was a long list of impact that these elections were going to have outcomes that directly affected. And one of them was the NRLB. They've had scandal there. They've had problems going back for a while. And it seemed as though the Biden administration was just didn't have any gumption at all to do anything about it. I'm hopeful that the Trump-Vance administration will come in and really clean that up because, as you said, that does impact a lot of things. The independent contractor, the gig economy, that was something that for some reason the Biden administration thought was evil and wanted to try to ruin it as much as they could, even force, similar to being fully employed type of standards on people that do work gigs, babysitting and music and, things where you're only taking a job that's, on occasion. So this is a hugely vital area that I hope that they give a lot of attention to.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for bringing attention to it because, so there's, for example, the joint employer rule, which would, McFerrin was pushing it and the Biden administration lost in court about it. But basically, it would force franchisees, so independent mom and pop stores who want to have a franchise, to glom everybody together, and it creates a lot of problems. It makes things a lot more expensive and bureaucratic. And yes, like you mentioned, the independent contracting, in particular, women are a lot more likely to desire flexibility in employment and workplace. They value flexibility over higher compensation or more hours worked, because they want to caregive. They want a mother. They have maybe an older parent. And so to be anti-woman, which is the argument I like to make for Joe Biden when it comes to labor policy, that's, as you mentioned, that's the economy and inflation were two top issues why Trump won. And so I'm really pleased to see that they took this seriously, that the Republicans came out, and also that these two independent-minded Democrats did the right thing.
Are there any other problematic nominees that they're still trying to push through before the end of the year that senators need to be there for?
Well, they've been doing this treadmill of judicial nominees, and unfortunately, the Republicans, it's been harder for them to convince Sinema and Manchin, and Angus King also has been more independent-minded. So I think they have less leverage there, but maybe with this victory this week, they could kind of piggyback off of that. In terms of other branches, stay tuned.
Well, I hope that they will take the judicial nominees seriously. That was one of Trump's biggest legacies of his first term, more than 300 judiciary nominees put forward and gotten on the bench, both at the appellate and Supreme Court levels. And so we're really grateful for that. Carrie Sheffield, always a pleasure to see you. Thank you for being with us this week.
Thank you, Kevin. God bless.
And this real quick reminder, speaking of independent women, we still have 18 women that we have not liberated in our 208 slave liberation attempt for this year. And my friends at Christian Solidarity International are very intent on trying to liberate all 208. Will you go to the phone and help us right now? 888-342-1010, 888-342-1010. We've liberated 190 women so far, but the list had 208 names on them. And I just don't want to leave a single one of these 18 behind before the end of the year. And we can get them home for Christmas. There's a liberation just around the corner. We can give them their freedom for the rest of their life, but we need your help. 888-342-1010. You can also go to bringherhome.org for more info. Bringherhome.org, bringherhome.org, or 888-342-1010. 888-342-1010.
Stick around for more of That Kevin next. That Kevin Show.